Jarom, game day eve, what would a win for BYU over Baylor mean? And in turn, what would a loss to Baylor mean for BYU in the grand scheme of the 2022 season?
Okay, first off, let's talk about it. I love this matchup, right? Both teams are ranked. Bears versus Cougars, Dr. Pepper versus Coke.
Yes.
We're not going to get into it, but each school is affiliated with a religion. Like, there are similar and contrasting conversations with this that seem very friendly. And it seems like it's like the neighbor that just moved in and we're getting to know each other. That's the relationship right now. I like this matchup. I'm excited for it. I don't call it a rivalry. We'll get to that a little bit later. Okay, if BYU wins, when BYU wins, I believe BYU is going to win. I really do.
Okay.
Top 10 win. The sixth time that will have ever happened. That's such a rare feat in BYU history, Spence. It would be one of the most notable wins in Cougar program history to beat Baylor. Now, and we think Baylor is going to be good this year. Like, this is a 9+ win team, if not 11, right? They're very good. BYU suddenly flies up the rankings.
Yes.
They're inside the top 14 at least, right? Maybe more. Is BYU then favored in Eugene next week, perhaps? The split with the Big Four is possible, like we've been talking about. 10-2 plus is still possible. Buzz about being a playoff contender starts to simmer a little bit, right? Big 12 confidence versus the champs, not only for this year, but next year going into the league. And then you defend home turf. I think that's really important. BYU needs to defend home turf in order to get that split, in order to have 10+ wins possible. It would be one of the biggest wins in program history to win tomorrow.
Yes.
But how many times has BYU been ranked in this situation, right? A confident team, ranked against Oklahoma, ranked against Miami, where you feel like, hey, BYU's got a team that can win this game. And, oh, by the way, Vegas feels BYU's favored.
If BYU wins, you can expect, I don't know, probably an 8-spot jump at least in the rankings. I know some people are saying, they should flip-flop places. Yeah, it's probably not going to happen that way. But, again, to note, it doesn't happen very often that BYU faces a top 10 team, and certainly the number of wins they have had against top 10 teams in history is limited. 5 total.
And there are freshmen on that are now seniors from the 2018 team that played against Wisconsin. Like, there are some members of the team who are rostered who know what it's like to get it done. Now you're at home. Go do it.
Different venue, different energy, and certainly BYU they know what's on the line, massive opportunity. So not only is it just like a rankings boost, but Jarom, the belief that BYU could do something special this season now really starts to take hold if they figure out a way to beat Baylor. Because it's 2-0.
Yes.
Who's to say, okay, we just knocked off number 9 Baylor. We destroyed USF the week before. Why would BYU not believe that they could go to Eugene and beat an Oregon team that lost to Georgia 49-3 and is going to have an FCS opponent? Like, the belief now goes next level.
This is the most likely of those wins. Why? Because BYU is healthy right now. Minus Puka Nacua and, Gunnar Romney. But, like, I'm talking, last year BYU got run over because Baylor, 1, was better, and 2, BYU was banged up. That combination wasn't good for BYU. The score was 14. It didn't feel like a 14-point game.
BYU will be at least number 13 in the rankings going to Oregon if they beat Baylor. Now, to be fair to the situation, while both of us feel really good about the matchup, the time of the game, certainly the setting, the location, all advantages to BYU, if Baylor comes in and picks up a road win, then the Bears are legit. Okay, they might be the best team in the Big 12 again if they can handle this environment, and Blake Shapen in his first true road hostile environment comes away with a victory over BYU, then they might go back-to-back in the Big 12. Like, they would be my front runner because this is a tall task for Baylor.
Yes.
If BYU is competitive, and in the previous 5 wins they've had over top 10 teams, all have been one score, as you pointed out. We discussed this after the show a couple of days ago. It'll be a close game. If BYU loses close, maybe they stay in the top 25. But
probably
history
not.
would say that they probably dropping just out.
I would guess that BYU's out. Yeah. And other things that could happen if BYU loses. 9-3 regular season expectation is probably where it slides for me.
Yeah, yep.
Same for you. Okay. 1-3 versus the Big Four is a possibility. You hope you can win 2 of the next 3, but at Oregon, BYU could still go win at Oregon. Notre Dame feels like a tough game. That's the most likely loss of the season, but hey, maybe BYU pulls off the upset. Arkansas is going to be a real physical team, kind of in that same spot that Baylor was last year, where, hey, is BYU beat up? Are they ready for KJ Jefferson, a 240-pound quarterback.
Yeah, is Arkansas beat up because they go through a gauntlet before they come to Provo?
Great point. And then, going 0-2 versus Baylor in back-to-back years before you go into the Big 12, it's like, all right, you know what? BYU had to kiss the ring, I guess, of the champs and the preseason champs, if you will, of the league. So it's a big game. BYU has more on the line than Baylor, by the way. BYU season, a lot more rides on this, winning this than Baylor. Baylor has the Big 12. We're going to start to experience that again next year for the first time in a long time, people, where we go, oh, non-con wasn't what we wanted, but guess what? If we show up in league, we can still go to a great bowl game. And I'm talking like, if you win the league, obviously you could be in the playoff. If you're an automatic champ, the expanded playoff in a couple years kind of thing.
Here's the other element of this game that I really like that is a benefit to BYU. While it is late, and we know that a lot of the East Coast voters, and they'll probably go to bed and figure out what happened the next morning, but it's one of only 3 ranked versus ranked matchups, and we believe it's the best ranked matchup in all of college football. So a lot of natural attention will be on this game. Just maybe some of those East Coast viewers are like, I'll stay up just a little bit longer because this is the best game.
So performed really well in the first half.
This is the opportunity. Aside from beating Notre Dame, this is BYU's best opportunity to, quote-unquote, make the statement for the national writers.
Yes.
This is the best opportunity.
And then next week again at Oregon, early Fox game, national. I mean, it's going to be big time. By the way, wear Royal to every game this year. That's the direction received. Wear Royal to every game. Okay, topic 2, game day guarantees. We did this last week. You went 4 for 4. I think I went 1 for 4.
Okay.
What do you have this week?
All right, my first guarantee, Jarom, game day guarantee. And I'm going with what Coach Dave Aranda just alluded to in his press conference.
Say it like Dave, though.
I believe that Jaron Hall will have at least a 3-to-1 TD to turnover ratio, Jarom. So, Jarom Hall,
I like him even more now. I like him a lot.
Jarom.
Thank you.
Will have at least a 3-to-1 TD to turnover ratio. So whether that's a fumble or interception, he's going to produce.
3-to-1.
He's going to show up in a big way. He will be responsible for at least 3 touchdowns, whether with his feet or with his arm.
Or catching.
And he might not turn the ball over at all. I'm going to give him a little bit of room to maybe deal with a fumble because of Baylor's pass rush up front. Really good, really strong. Or an interception. But the point is, Jaron Hall's going to play a great game with the national spotlight. I guarantee 3-to-1 TD to turnover ratio.
I guarantee it.
Number 2, pretty simple and straightforward. The first team to 20 points is going to win this game, Jarom.
The first to 20. Okay.
First to 20. So if BYU has a quick start, like they did against Utah and Arizona State last year, and they held on with the emotion of that late-night crowd.
Where were those games played?
They were played at LaVell Stadium.
What time did those kick?
8:15 kick.
8:20,
Yes, indeed. First team to 20 wins the game. I guarantee it.
You'll like the way you look.
And my bold guarantee, and this is crazy based on what happened last year.
Talk to me, Brian Logan.
BYU will outrush Baylor in this game.
BYU wins.
Baylor ran for 303 yards against BYU last year. The Cougars combined for 67 rushing yards.
5 sacks, took that number way down, right? Yeah.
I'm hoping that BYU goes, 150 plus, and they can hold the Bears to a similar. It's going to be close, but I think BYU will outrush Baylor.
Yes.
What are your Friday guarantees?
BYU gained 110 in the game, by the way. Lost a bunch with the sacks. Okay, number 1, Chris Brooks will score a rushing touchdown. I just think he's going to be a machine this year and go for 14 plus.
Okay.
He'll be the 15th player in BYU history with that number. Blake Shapen will throw an interception.
Okay.
It's second true road game, his first real test right at Kansas State, not the same as what he's going to see here.
He didn't play in the bowl game, by the way, because he was injured.
Yes.
The biggest game he played in was the Big 12 championship.
Which is a huge game. That knocked BYU out of the New Year's Six, perhaps.
But it's not a road game.
So if you're upset about BYU not being in the New Year's Six last year, obviously within BYU's control.
Take it out on Baylor.
Take it out on Blake Shapen, who beat Oklahoma State. Okay, and number 3, Baylor will force a turnover. Just know that it's going to happen. They've done this in 23 straight games, okay? I believe it will happen again. They're plus 21. Can BYU overcome it? Can it be a turnover that doesn't matter, meaning they don't score off of that, right? That's the hope, that if Baylor forces a turnover, which I think they will, they're going to do it again. If BYU's clean the whole game,
They're going to win.
You certainly help yourself, right? That's not everything, but it at least gives you a chance.
Oh, yeah, you want to talk about guarantees? If BYU has 0 turnovers, 100% they will win this game.
Ooh.
0 turnovers, 100% at home. In that scenario,
but what if Baylor doesn't turn it over? It's just even.
I don't care. 0 turnovers, no momentum plays to help Baylor on the road. BYU's going to win the game.
I love it. I just want BYU to win. I don't care how.
But to your point,
2-0, I'd take it right now.
To our guarantees, like, you think Baylor's going to force turnover, and I gave some slack to Jaron Hall to have a turnover because Baylor's defense is so opportunistic.
We think a turnover is happening, which is not even a crazy guess given that Baylor's done it so often so recently.